live shortly. And Talina, it's almost here. Yay! Almost done. Waiting's almost done.
As Rebekah always says, when talking about ice cream,
the only true ice cream is vanilla.
Hello! Oh, let me get that down. Shalom, shalom, scattered Israel. Let me move. Oh, there we go. Shalom, shalom, scattered Israel, and the Melchizedek Israel, and Ladies of Teshuvah and your families. I see some are online already. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with me. I am Rebekah for anyone who doesn't know me, and my show is the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl Show, where I am dedicated to helping you apply what you know. So you're going to learn a bunch of stuff, and you're going to walk it out. So I want your head knowledge to turn into heart knowledge. That is what I want to help you do. So get ready for a really great show today. I'm excited. I've got new segments. I got new song, a new news segment, new travel video, just all kinds of good stuff for you. And I will be back in just a second to tell you who is in the house. Yay! And it's okay. It's almost there, Talina. It's almost there. Yay! It's almost done. You know what I mean. guess what? I have Isaac in the house tonight, and Hadassah, actually. Isaac is going to come in a little bit, and we are going to talk about Shabbat. We're going to talk about the what Shabbat is, if you don't know, and we're going to talk about the challenges with Shabbat. We're going to do a little personal self-audit about Shabbat and how to delight in Shabbat, some ideas. We're just going to sit and banter ourselves and share with you our challenges. And so anyway, that is going to be super fabulous. So tonight, I want you to join me for the next 80 minutes or so for a really fun show dedicated to the Melchizedek Priesthood in a way that honors the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Yehovah's son, Yeshua HaMashiach. I think that's it, and we are going to get rocking and rolling on the segments. And Hadassah and Isaac had to split for just a second, but they will be back in the house in just a little bit. So hopefully you are having a great Shabbat tonight. We have a little fire going in here, so it's getting a little bit warm. So we'll see you in just a moment.
This is sponsored by Teshuvah Ministries, promoting a simple understanding of salvation and of the Royal Melchizedek Priesthood. Visit www.teshuvahministries.com for more.
And welcome to the newsroom. I am Rebekah Bat Yehovah, and tonight, like father, like son, how and when does Yeshua actually echo his father? Tonight we are going to look at when both Yehovah Elohim and Yeshua the Son talk about having eyes to see and ears to hear. So let's turn first to see what Yeshua said. Matthew 13 to 15. Let's see what he says. 13 to 15 says, for whoever obeys, to him more will be given, and he will have even more abundance. But whoever does not obey, even that which he has will be taken away from him. That is why I speak to them in parables, because they have eyes to see, but they do not see. They have ears to hear, but they do not understand. And then you skip down to 16, or 15. This whole section is about that. The hearts of these people have grown brittle and cold as wax. Their ears are dull of hearing, and they have closed their eyes. If at any time they open their eyes and listen with their ears and understand with their heart and return to me, I will heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Truth I say to you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and have wanted to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. So there is where he talks about that several times in there. But let's see where Yehovah talks about, where Yeshua echoes again his father. In Isaiah 6:9 through 10, he says, this is the Father speaking. He says, then I heard a voice of Yehovah saying, whom shall I send, and who will go first? And I said, here am I, send me. He said, go and tell the people this, be ever hearing, but never understanding. Be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Make the heart of this people callous, make their ears dull, and close their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes and hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. So as you can see, one more time, there is proof that Yeshua did not come to speak his own words, but came to speak the words of the Father. Oh, I pray that you have those eyes to see and ears to hear, that they both have been speaking about and are still speaking about. So until next time, I am Rebekah Bat Yehovah. Well, hello. This is the moment where the family is supposed to actually be here, but they had to run to the restroom. So I am going to cover this section. I wanted to, I'm going to read to you. Let me show you Hadassah's little slide. Whoops, where'd it go? There's her slide she made. Not slide. What am I thinking? I totally get Twitter-pated I get like flustered. I get in front of the camera sometimes. This is the artwork that Hadassah made for this envelope. So week 5, I'm going to have them read when they actually get back. But, so how is your Shabbat going? It is cold here, but sunny. Well, it was raining, but it's kind of cold still, but sunny. So we woke up with, like, it had rained last night, and there was rain on leaves, but the leaves had gotten frozen, and the raindrops were frozen on the leaves, which is really, it was interesting. It was kind of a different, I don't know, it's just not the same as it has been in the past when it freezes outside. It feels a little different. So, well, you know what? Let me go to the feed, and I'm gonna, one thing, I am gonna wait for them to come back, because I think they would like to be a part of this. But, oh, hi, Joanne. Yeah, Hadassah's a little good artist, absolutely. Yes, Darlene, vanilla is absolutely the only ice cream out there. What was I gonna say? Oh, shoot, I was gonna say something. Now I can't remember. But you know what? I think I will just keep on going. I'm going to go ahead and read this encouragement. Hadassah is going to come for another little segment later on. We're going to talk about To the Little Feast Diva. We're going to talk about her Shabbats and how she loves them. And Isaac is going to come back in a little bit. But let me read you just a little bit of encouragement, because it is so important for me to hear encouragement, to hear how what I do affects other people. And just to hear the movement of the Ruach HaKodesh on people's hearts who are watching what I do. And that just helps so much in the job that I have in front of me to do. So I'm just going to read for a second. Eddie wrote, Shalom, shalom. Hi, I'm a newbie here. First, you are such a blessing. Next, your teachings are enlightening, educational, and full of the Ruach HaKodesh. You have many gifts, talents, and blessings within your life. Yeshua shines brightly in each of your videos. Thank you kindly for all you do, and may Yeshua bless you and your family daily. Thank you, Eddie. John said, so glad I stumbled onto your site. It's great stuff, and I love the editing. Well done. Yeah, John, I spend a lot of time being really careful with how I communicate. I really believe that in this movement, people don't care about that enough. There's just, somebody will just set up a little webcam in front of the computer, and they look like they haven't even brushed their teeth, and like they haven't even cared at all. And they just begin to vomit, truth at you. And that makes me so angry. And when the truth that's in here and the truth of the story and Yehovah himself, they're so beautiful, and it deserves care in how we communicate. That's one way that we love each other, is to communicate in a way that it's going to be received well. So I definitely try hard when I do videos, even live, and the pre-edited ones that are up there. I try really hard to make them, powerful on the heart and beautiful, so that you want to keep listening. All right, here is Connie. Connie says, wonderful, you are a sweet breath of fresh air, encouraging me. Glory to Yehovah. They're back. And let's see, another Hanny Edu. Let's see, Hanny EDU. You need to design feast greeting cards, girlfriend. Yes, actually, I have a couple started, and at some point I would love to do that. I have a lot of ideas for that, and I think some of the ladies in the group, in the Ladies of Teshuvah group, would have a lot of ideas for that. Feast greeting cards, I think that's a great thing to do. Hey, Hadassah, come here for a second. That's okay. Okay, and then CJ says, I really appreciate you. Although I know you have a target audience of sisters in Yah, your delivery and joy and exclamations are refreshing. Keep letting the Most High use you, and much respect to your husband and family. I just showed them your envelope. Cool. So thank you, CJ. Thank you. I do get that word a lot, like refreshing. It's good. And then one last one, Silver Mountain Media commented, said, very refreshing teaching on the order of Melchizedek. Praise Yehovah, the Lord, for your wonderful ministry. Thank you, Silver Mountain. Here, Hadassah, we put that away. I had somebody the other day asking if we would do more video teachings on the Melchizedek Priesthood, and I hope to. We hope to actually do a book and give our understanding of the Melchizedek Priesthood. So here is a slide for you to send your wonderful comments to, if you would like to. That would be awesome. There is our address. So I don't need anything but nice comments, please. The constructive is fine, but nice. All right. Let me see here if I can come back. Yay. All right, Hadassah. We just had to keep rocking and rolling. Sorry about that. I didn't know what the time frame was. I didn't know. We're still figuring this out.
I just have to use the restroom and come straight back.
That's okay. You can come back in a second. All right. Let's sing a song with Bruce. Okay? So Campfire. I am Rebekah and this is my friend Bruce. And tonight we're going to sing one of the oldest songs, one of the oldest camp songs. You sang this when you were in your 20s at college, so much that you didn't want to sing it anymore. So I'm like pulling something way out of the past and bringing it forward. I love this song. It's called Pass It On. So welcome again to Hayden Lake, Idaho. It's beautiful tonight. The sun is starting to set behind us over the lake. And we're going to sing to Papa. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you spread His love to everyone you want to pass it on. What a wonderful. Welcome to Campfire. I am Rebekah and this is my friend Bruce. And tonight we're going to sing one of the oldest songs, one of the oldest camp songs. You sang this when you were in your 20s at college, so much that you didn't want to sing it anymore. So I'm like pulling something way out of the past and bringing it forward. I love this song. It's called Pass It On. So welcome again to Hayden Lake, Idaho. It's beautiful tonight. The sun is starting to set behind us over the lake, and we're going to sing to Papa. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you spread His love to everyone you want to pass it on. What a wondrous time is spring, when all the trees are budding, the birds begin to sing, the flowers start their blooming. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you want to sing. It's fresh like spring. You want to pass it on. I wish for you, my friend, a repentant heart like I have found. You can depend on Him. It matters not where you're bound. I'll shout it from the mountain top. I want the world to know the King of Kings has rescued me. I want to pass it on. Nice. So the first time it was ever unveiled. right. So I am not the best singer in the world by any means, but that was the funnest day of my summer. Like I think I've told you before, but I used to be on that stage with Bruce back in my 20s, and a lot of other people on stage singing with, a couple hundred kids in the crowd, and that was a super fun time in my life. But I know I'm not much of a singer, but you have to just do what you have to do, right? I just have to. I love those songs. So, okay, we're going to go through the Avinu prayer, the Lord's Prayer, the prayer of the Father. So, let me see here if I can find. Whoops, there we go. The Avinu prayer, the prayer of our Father. Whoops. All right, let's go right here. Where is that? I can't reach it. Whoops. Why is it doing that? Okay, right here. All right. All right, Matthew 6:9-13. This is the prayer. I'm going to do it a little differently today. We're just going to read it straight through in English, and then we're going to go ahead and pray it in Hebrew. So it says, Our Father in heaven, may your name be sanctified, may your kingdom be blessed. Your will shall be done in heaven and on earth. Give us our bread continually. Forgive the debt of our sins as we forgive the debt of those who sin against us. Do not bring us into the hands of a test, and protect us from all evil or peril. And notice that the doxology part isn't there. Okay, in Hebrew, Our Father in heaven. Avinu Shabasha Maim. Avinu Shabasha Maim. Yit Kadesh Shimcha means may your name be sanctified. Yit Kadesh Shimcha. Let's see if this is something's going weird here. Hold on. Yit Kadesh Shimcha. Ve'it Barak Malchuta. Where is it? It's coming, but it's not. Huh. Hold on a second. Let me see if. Huh. Ve'it Barak Melchuta. May your kingdom be blessed. Ve'it Barak Melchuta. May your kingdom be blessed. Retzencha yiheya aswi bashamayim uva aretz. Your will shall be done in heaven on earth. It said, again, let's say it again. Retzencha yiheya aswi bashamayim uva aretz. V'titein lachmenu timidit. Give us our bread continually. V'titein lachmenu timidit. Umechol lanu chatotenu ka'asher anachnu mohalim. Forgive the debt of our sins as we forgive the debt of those who sin against us. Let me say it again. Umechol lanu chatotenu ka'asher anachnu mohalim. Yeah, say it with me. That's awesome. Anachnu mohalim. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. Do not bring us into the hand of a test. Vial to vi'inu l'deinid seon. Do not bring us into the hands of a test. Oh, Papa. Vial to vi'inu l'deinid seon. V'shom rinu mikol ra. Protect us from all evil or peril. V'shom rinu mikol ra. Protect us from all peril. All right, and then. So I just wanted to, for a moment, focus on forgiveness. Let me see if I can put this on the side. If I can go back here. And where's my live camera? Oops, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, so I wanted to focus on forgiveness just for a moment and just ask... you know that the scriptures is full of you must forgive, and I failed to grab my verses for today and what I wanted to read to you from, unless it's in that pile right there. I wanted to, oh, there you go. Yeah. Cool. I did bring. Thank you. Oh, by the way, for the songs, I have a little songbook, a little Campfire songbook. If you wanted to get it, it's in my store. So a little download, so you can sing along and have them for later and make more verses. Okay, let's just read. I want to read one more verse about forgiveness today. I want to read Daniel 9:9. So get your Bibles and let's read Daniel 9:9 together. Because this is the prayer. Okay, so the Avinu prayer is the Father's prayer. It's the prayer to the Father. It's the prayer that Yeshua taught his disciples to pray. Right? And so we pray it not as a rote prayer, but the framework of it is basically what he's after, I think, but also he's telling us how to pray. I love it. He's not saying pray to Jesus. He's saying pray to the Father. And he's saying you can ask for certain things. Okay, so Daniel 9:9 says... let's see, Daniel 9:9. Maybe I wrote that wrong. Daniel 9:9. Is merciful for. Okay, Yehovah our Elohim is merciful and forgiving, even though we have rebelled against him. So this is what I wanted. So Yehovah, you are righteous, but this day you are covered with. But we are covered with shame, the men of Judah and the people of Jerusalem and all of Israel, both near and far, and all the countries where you have scattered us because of our unfaithfulness to you. Oh Yehovah, we and our kings, our princes, and our fathers are covered with shame because we have sinned against you. Yehovah our Elohim is merciful and forgiving, even though we have rebelled against him. We have not obeyed Yehovah our Elohim or kept the laws he gave us through his servants the prophets. All Israel has transgressed your law and turned away, refusing to obey you. But I like how he's like, Daniel's remembering, but you are faithful to forgive. So as scattered Israel, as most of us are here, all of us who are coming back to Yehovah and repenting and returning to him, we have sinned, we have transgressed his laws. Our forefathers have sinned and transgressed his laws. And we, as we're coming back, we're repenting, we're saying we're immensely, superiorly, we're just so sorry and heartbroken over that. Daniel's reminding us that Yehovah forgives. So and then as in Yeshua said in his prayer, he's like, we have this stack of debts against Yehovah, but he is faithful to forgive us our debts, but we also need to turn and give forgiveness to those who ask us for forgiveness. So as those who forgive us our debts, he will forgive us. Kind of as we forgive those who owe us, then he will forgive us. So if we're like not going to forgive, then I guess we can basically say he won't forgive us if we don't forgive as well. So we'll just keep looking at this, but this is the active part of the prayer. So last as I've said before, when we were looking last semester. Yeah, I'm getting my daughter into college. I'm thinking semesters. Last season we talked about the sanctify his name. That's an active thing you do in that prayer. It's like, may your name be sanctified. And who does the sanctifying? We do. We praise his name. We speak his name. We do good works in his name, that sort of thing. And now I wanted to focus on in season 2 on the forgiveness idea, in the forgiveness truth in there, and the command in there to forgive others if we want to be forgiven. So I just want you to consider that tonight. If there's somebody that you have something against, have they asked for forgiveness? For when we've seen that Yeshua said that person needs to come to you and ask forgiveness, and then if he asks and repents, then you need to forgive. There's instructions in the Torah on how to do that, but I think that we're all grown-ups, right? We know when it's right and when we owe somebody forgiveness, and when you just don't need to be a doormat anymore, kind of thing. It doesn't mean that you hold it in your heart and harbor it, because that'll just make you a bitter person. And I know a lot of those people, right? We don't need any more of those people around. Bitter is not good. No. Bitter is it's just okay, don't get me started anymore. All right, we're going to have a fun segment now. Oh, people, Israel, will you please learn to be nice? Israel. Just the the anger and the bitterness and the frustration, just stop venting it on each other. Just, if you have to, pound on Papa's heart on his chest. Pound on his chest. Go to him. He's big enough to handle it. If you go humbly and with, need for a father to like hold you while you're like but don't do that to everyone else around you. It's just I can't believe it. There are so many people who call themselves believers and then turn around and hurt their fellow believer. They're not believers. They're obviously not believers. They are sons of someone else. Okay. So, all right, I'm done. That's my ramble. Okay, let's go and have let's see, Israel travel tip. Yay! Here we go. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then you are part of the scattered Israel. The prophecy says that he will plant a scattered Israel in the land. But before that, perhaps, you will get to visit. Right, Hadassah? What happened to us last year?
Last cup, we went to visit Israel.
Yes, we did. And so Hadassah and I have 3 travel tips for you today. The first travel tip is how to say the word love in Hebrew. These are words that I wish that I had known when I was in Israel last year. Just kind of would help make the talking with the local fluent Hebrew speakers there a little bit easier. But the Hebrew word for love is what, Hadassah? Ahava. Ahava. How do you spell that, Hadassah?
A-H-A-V-A.
Love. Ahava. Travel tip number 2. When you go to the land of Israel, this is one of the coolest things that I got at the market. Whoops! Little dipping dishes. So here we have 3 little dipping dishes. Oh, they're so cool. That you can put your labana in it, you can put your hummus in it, you can put your jams in it for your breakfasts. When you go to Israel and you come back, you're going to be changed when it comes to what you eat for breakfast, trust me. You're going to have tuna, and you're going to have shakshuka, and you're going to have Israeli salad and bread and all this wonderful dips and stuff. So definitely come back with some dipping dishes. And travel tip number 3, you must see the land of Sfat. Sfat. Do you remember going to Sfat? Sfat? Yeah. It's a city up north, and it is super beautiful. It is the headquarters of Kabbalah, for sure, but it is a beautiful city. So Sfat was it was good for the heart. It was super good for the heart. Sfat was good. Stairs, beautiful flowers hanging, music, lots of color, cobblestone, little walkways to walk through, big tall walkways. It was beautiful, so you must go see Sfat. All right, those are our travel tips for today. Hadassah is about ready to fall over.
I can't wait to meet you in Israel.
So remember, it's Yah's land, and no matter what people are doing on it or to it right now, prophecy says that one day Israel is scattered, will come back, clean it up, and call it home. Yah bless your journey to His land. Oh, hello! What are you doing here? Well, welcome to my storage unit. What was that? Oh, you would like me to tell you a story? Oh, I would love to tell you a story. In fact, the storage unit, my storage unit, is a great place to tell stories. I have so many wonderful things in here that remind me of wonderful times in my life, and hard times. I have a lot of great stories. So you want to hear a story? Okay. Well, come on in and sit down. I know it's kind of messy, but come sit anyway. So I like to start all my stories with once upon a time, a very long time ago. Once upon a time, a very long time ago. Okay, well, this wasn't so long ago, but this story was when Maggie was about 10 years old, so 9 years ago. And I have something here that reminds me of this story. And aren't these fun? See, I love storage units, and I love getting into my stuff because then I go on tangents. So cool. These are old musical instruments that I bought Maggie, but this reminds me, this is our little puppy's collar, Kata's collar, when she was a little tiny puppy. I think I can get even smaller than this because she was super small when we got her. So I'm going to tell you about the time when Maggie got our little gold dog. So I know you've probably seen, we have two dogs right now. One is black and one is gold. She's more of a blonde. Well, the blonde one is about as old as this story. So the blonde one is about 9 years old. And 9 years ago, Maggie was 10 years old. And we were in the process of being taken to the wilderness. So Papa Yah was saying to our family, I need to take you away for a while. And so he started taking everything away so that we would move. And so we lost our home and lost a job and our business and everything. So in the process of all this loss, we were also losing family and friends and just all this, it was a super hard time in our life. And I remember praying that Papa would take care of my daughter's hearts, especially Maggie's heart. Hadassah was she was too young. She was very young. She was 7. She just went with the flow. But Maggie was, wanted her heart taken care of. So one of the things that happened, one of the very first blessings that I saw was something that Papa gave Maggie. And so this is the story. So Isaac one day, it was a Monday, and he was going to go up to the property. He went up to the property, the teepee property, to continue preparing it for when he was going to take his family. All of us girls are going to go up there and live in a teepee. And it was a totally new life. We were going to have no running water, and we weren't going to have flush toilets. We weren't going to have, lights. It was going to be a total new way of living. He went up there he was preparing the land with a friend, doing some bobcat work on the property, and us girls weren't needed. So we stayed home to pack. We were still packing, and Maggie decided that she wanted a puppy. And all day long, all she did was pray for a puppy. Pray. Oh, she just prayed and prayed. She's like, Papa, give me a puppy. Please bring a puppy to me today. Please have Daddy bring me a puppy today. All day long, she just prayed and prayed and prayed for a puppy. Well, guess what happened? Isaac comes home. She opens the door and she's looking at him with big wide eyes, and he has something behind his back he's holding, and he says, Maggie, put out your hands and close your eyes. So she closes her eyes and she puts out her hands, and into her hands Daddy puts this little tiny fur ball, little tiny puppy, only weeks old. And Maggie's eyes went this big, and she was like, oh, Papa answered my prayers. I got a puppy. And then we named her Kaycha, and Kayrah. It means provision. So the word Keda is a Hebrew word, one of the Hebrew words for provision, and I felt like Papa provided for Maggie's heart during a very hard time in our life. And it was hard on her in ways that we don't even know how hard it was, and Papa provided her a little puppy. Now, I have to clarify the story that Maggie thought she was the mama of this puppy, but in the end, of course, I became the mama of that puppy. So, let's just clarify. So that ends my story, and I like to end all my stories with, and she lived happily ever after. Well, Kata grew up to be a little grouchy. But in the end, yes, the story will end wonderful. It will end up in the happily ever after. And so I just want you to remember, the point of my story is for you to remember that Papa cares about your heart. And especially when he takes you to the wilderness, he does care about your heart. He's not trying to traumatize you. He's not trying to make things extra hard for any other reason besides he's got to cut you free from everything so that he can speak to you, so he can free you, so that he can have you get the happily ever after. He wants to give you the happily ever after. He wants to make your Cinderella story end like the Cinderella story. So just remember that in the meantime, while he's got all this work he's doing on your heart and in your life, he loves you, and he does care about you. And he does care about your heart. He wants to bring your heart along. And I believe that this little dog brought Maggie's heart along for the ride into the wilderness. So that's my story. So thank you so much for coming by. And as you can see, I have lots more stories to tell. So definitely come back, okay? All right, bye-bye.
So we have Hadassah was watching that story and she's crying. She's on for my little ramble. We're going to talk to Hadassah about Shabbat, but she's crying. Can I have some tissue? Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Why? So Hadassah. Hadassah, why did that move you so much? Why was that sad?
Because she was so cute.
Because Kata was so cute. Well, Kata's still here.
I know.
Kata's a little brat. So,
okay, I'm alright now.
you okay? I'm okay now. All right. So let's just so Kata's fine. Kata's at home with Buddy. We have 2 little dogs. They're just fine. She's a brat. She's feisty as ever. Right, Hadassah?
Yeah.
But I think you like that story because I think Kata brought your heart along too. I think it was fun to have the doggy on the mountain running around, and the girls would chase the dog up and down the hill while we were building our teepee. So I think that it also, Hadassah has such a sensitive, caring, beautiful heart. Don't ya? All right. I know, baby.
I know.
Okay, so I just want to ask you just a couple questions.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Shabbat. So you have to look kind of up there because this is the monitor, but they're up there.
Okay.
Hi.
First of all, somebody was asked
Yeah.
what she's crocheting. You
Oh.
can see it in the frame.
What are you crocheting? Why don't you show everyone what you're
Oh.
crocheting? So-
I'm kind of crocheting a blanket.
Oh, it's warm. Let me have that. I'm so cold.
I know.
It's cold in here. I can't wait till you get it all done, and then we'll cuddle in it while
Yeah.
we do the show.
It's gonna be big though, so.
Yeah, it's
See.
beautiful. You're doing a
Yeah.
really good job. When did you learn how to crochet? I forgot. Did you learn at the teepee?
Perhaps the teepee.
I think I got the girls crochet hooks and yarn when we went to the teepee, and then they spent lots of evenings crocheting. So yeah, you're doing a great job. Okay, so I want to ask you, Hadassah, about just one quick question. Let's just do one question. Fridays. What is Friday?
For me, it's a prep day for Shabbat for me.
It's a prep day for Shabbat for Hadassah. She has taken this Shabbat, prep day Shabbat very, very seriously, haven't you?
Mhm.
So what do you do on Fridays? What does your Friday look like, your prep day?
My prep day is clean for Shabbat. I clean the bathroom. I disinfect that.
Yep.
And I clean the kitchen. I sweep and vacuum. You know that. I do lots of cleaning.
Yeah, yeah.
And make it all nice for the
And you put a little candle in the bathroom when you're all done, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So she puts a little candle in the bathroom when she's all done, lights it, and just to know that the room is done. Yeah. So I am so thankful for Hadassah. I am so busy right now, and she just loves cleaning. She loves getting ready for Shabbat. So you will actually even set the table for Shabbat in the afternoon on Friday, right?
Yeah, if I'm home alone like all day.
Well, no, you're not home alone.
Well, yeah.
Just but you'll set the table for Shabbat. How do you do that? What do you put on the table?
I put the tablecloth on first,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll put the plates on,
Mhm.
and the forks and the knives and the
Yeah.
spoons, out, and
Right.
the wine glasses out, and
And then the Shabbat candles.
the Shabbat candles and some
Yep.
extra candles on each side.
Yeah, and then what do you put? You put candles in all over the room. What are they?
It's like a wine glasses kind of.
A little tiny wine glass.
Yeah, it's
All
a
over.
tiny. Yeah,
You put them all over the room.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Very fun.
dinner.
Well, thank you. I am so thankful for Hadassah and for her help at home getting ready for Shabbat. She's definitely like 100% in. Definitely. And I have no fear that in her home someday she's going to be keeping Shabbat and doing a wonderful job of it. Thank you, Hadassah.
Yeah, and I dinner for every weekend. So
Yeah.
no
No matter where we are. Very cool. Okay, you want to introduce the next thing right here? Do you see that? Can you read that?
Oh, my sister Maggie and my mom did a TM treasure
Yay!
segment.
Here
that
we
we're gonna
go. TM Treasures.
Everyone of the team treasures. Alright, so these look like something that would be a good gift for someone. I know that you and Hadassah made this while we were in the wilderness, so tell us about it.
It's a card game for Yahweh's appointed times. So Yahweh has appointed times. This is a card game. It's a full deck. It's 54 cards. Very bright and beautiful. And on the other side, you have all the feasts. So you have all the feasts are in here. There's 4 cards for each feast. There's also a number and color and a coat. And the coats are, what are they? Trumpets, scrolls, menorahs, crowns. And so you can play all kinds of games with this deck of cards, but you can learn the rhythm of the feast, or you can learn the feast while you're playing cards. Yeah.
So I know that these are pretty expensive to print.
Yes.
What do
they
you
are.
need to be able to produce them?
Well, I would love to be able to produce these on a large scale so that we could get these down to, maybe $7 a deck or so. Right now they're $25 a deck because there's so much money to produce just a few at a time. But if somebody could help me produce these and get these out into the world, that would be fabulous. You need thousands of dollars to actually print these on the kind of scale that we need to get them down to cheaper. But for now, you can purchase these for $25 a pack. Go feast. So this, Hadassah and I, we were in the teepee. We were during our wilderness time, and it was dark at night, and we were trying to figure out how to celebrate and how to keep our mind on Papa's things. So we created a deck of cards so that we could play in the teepee. All right, Maggie, do you have any yum churros?
Yeah.
Ah! Thank you. Very good. Do you have any shemini atzarets? Ah! I think these are very good. And do you have any shabbats? No way. Okay. Your turn. I'm done. Oh wait, no, I get to ask you again. Pesach. Do you have any Pesachs? Alright, do you have any shabbats?
No!
And what do I do?
Go feast.
Go feast. Oh, there's another one. Alright. I just drew one, so I get to ask you again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Pesach?
No.
Go feast. No, go feast. All right. Welcome, Isaac. Why don't you turn towards me? There you go. Yes, someday I would really, really like to get those cards totally printed, and just, I'd love to flood the market with those cards. They're super fun, and
Yeah, they're cool.
I know. They're just expensive to print. So I need a backer. I need a sponsor to do that. So if you have been blessed with lots of money and you have some money to like throw away or invest in something, then contact me and we will chat. Or contact Isaac and we'll chat.
Sure.
All right. So Isaac, my husband, this is my husband, Isaac. We have been married for, if you don't know, we've been married for about 20 years. We've known each other for 30 some.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since we were 14 years old. We have 2 kids. And just so if some of you don't know, we have been through the wilderness. Yes, we have. We have crossed over. So we are Hebrews who believe in Yeshua the Messiah. We're Melchizedek priests who believe in the change provided for in Torah that honors the work of Yeshua, the plan of Yehovah, in order to did away with the Levitical law and brings the new Melchizedek law. We also have celebrated and honored, we've hosted over 200 biblical feasts for the king, for Papa. So they've been all different kinds, in a variety of situations that we have been seriously walking with him at all costs. So, okay. So I got to ask you. Okay, so the new moon was this week.
Yes.
The new moon was this week. It was the 8th new moon. And according to the scriptures, you find the months by the sliver. And so we keep that. We keep the Aviv barley sided moon calendar, or the reckoning of time to find his calendar, his feast calendar. Feasts are the calendar. Anyway, but what did he do for you? Because he was on the road, but Papa actually gave you, you got to celebrate with Papa. It was super fun. So the girls and I celebrated with Wendy, one of our friends over in Spokane. It was super awesome. But so we FaceTime each other and stuff if we can't celebrate a moon together, but he gave you.
I know. Well, first, I stopped on top of a pass.
Yep.
At what I felt like would be the right time. And
to see the moon.
Yeah, to sight the moon. And I was getting frustrated because I couldn't see it. It was partly cloudy and stuff. And then Rebekah FaceTimed me. Mm-hmm. And as we were chatting, all of a sudden I saw it.
Yeah.
While I was actually on the phone with him. I was there for about an hour, but the best view I got was when I was on with them. Right. So that was really cool.
Right.
Then I had another hour to drive and got to my spot and wanted to mark the moment. And our family tradition is Chinese food. Yeah. So I was looking around, and there was a place that was about to close, and so I got the truck parked and I hoofed it on over there and got there just before they, as they were starting to shut the place down.
Yeah.
But they still had some food out, and so they talked me into loading up a tray with food.
Yeah.
And well, it was just gonna be 2 items, but she ended up just like, she was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll just give you like the whole thing," and she loaded it up with 4. And I had needed to change a large bill to do this, and I like asked if that was okay, and I handed her the bill and stuff, and she hands me all the change back for it, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then she just smiled at me and said, "You can just take the food. We're about to close anyway."
I love that. So Papa gave him, he's got to sight the moon on the road, and he gave you a free meal.
Yeah.
Chinese food, which we were doing. We had takeout, and we were in a meadow. So how fun is that? Anyway,
Yeah, that was pretty
that's sanctifying the name, praising Papa for doing something to say thank you for stopping. You're driving, but thank you for stopping and paying attention to what day it is.
right.
That's super cool. Okay, so Isaac and I are going to do just a little, I don't know, we're going to walk through, teach, we're going to just kind of guide you into thinking about Shabbat.
We'll talk about Shabbat.
Yeah. So let me see if, now this is a new thing. I've got Prezi slides up here.
Okay.
So we're going to see if
That's my hat.
I can make this happen. Woohoo, there it is. But I'll get it off of Isaac here in a second. All right, so Isaac, let's go this way.
Okay.
Here we go. I'll move over a little bit more.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm coming. Okay, there we go. All right, so is that, I can move it over just a tad bit more. There we go. All right, let's move just a little bit more because I want you to.
Yep. I'm
Okay.
just checking comments.
Good. All right, so we are going to, I'm going to pull this up real big so you can see for a second. Yay. Oops, not that one. Prezi. There we go. The Weekly Shabbat. The Weekly Shabbat. All right. So we're going to talk about the Weekly Shabbat. And these are Prezi slides that I can put a link to if you want. I can put a link to in the bottom here. So let me see if I can make this work. I'm so excited. I hope I can.
Yeah.
Whoops, I'm on that one. All right. So Isaac, it's going to be a little difficult to see both, but
Okay.
maybe what I can do, bear with me just for a sec while I figure this out. I think, oh yeah, I can put us in the corner so we can see. There we go. Okay, so the Weekly Shabbat. Here we go. Thank you for commenting and making, and using that live chat. Isaac's watching it. Maggie watches it too sometimes. And so if there's something real important, then he'll let me know and we can chat about it on air. But I do like to go through those later. And if you want to ask something, definitely put it in not in the chat, but in the feed below, in the comments below. And then I always get back with people that comment on YouTube. All right, so YouTube. So what is Shabbat? What is Shabbat? And most of you who are watching right now probably are very familiar with what Shabbat is, but maybe there might be somebody who's not. So we're going to go through, and maybe you need a refresher. So we're going to go through what Shabbat is. And we're going to fly through some of this stuff. We're not going to dig deep into the scriptures and give you a thorough study on it because there's not time right now. This is just kind of an overview. And one thing I want to encourage you to do is get my biblical feast planner. Look how big it is. It's huge. And it has every single feast in it for you to plan out. Now, there's no teachings in here. I have other books for those, for teachings and videos and that sort of thing. But this is cool because you can, walk through it real slowly at your own pace and figure out, have a place to document what you know about Shabbat, all the feasts. But I'll take Shabbat as an instance. Where the Torah commands are, what Papa says to do for it, how you rest, and what looks good on you, and make a plan to actually do the feast. So this is super cool. You got to get this, and I think I have the link below as it right now. If not, I'll try to put it there later. But so what is Shabbat? So why don't you help me? We'll just read down through through our little list of what Shabbat is.
Okay.
Or you can help me.
Okay. Want me to read it?
Well, I don't know. We'll just do this. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Oh man,
You go.
Are you cold?
No, you're
Okay. Shabbat is not just for the Jews or just for the Levitical law. Okay, so it's not just for the Jews, and here's why. It was established at creation.
right.
Okay, it is a command. Let's see. It's established at creation. It's commanded in the covenant. So in the Melchizedek covenant, you find it there in Exodus 20. The command is for no one in your authority to work. So no one in your so basically, what does it say? Remember the Sabbath day to keep a holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor maidservant, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth and sea and all that is within. And then he rested. So anyway, in that command, it's very clear that your children are not supposed to work. Your animals are not supposed to work. Your guests are not supposed to work. People who live with you are not supposed to be working. Anybody that visits you shouldn't be. So you have authority over a certain area that he's given you. It's like your little kingdom.
Your domain.
Your domain. In your domain, no one is supposed to be working on Shabbat. If you've agreed to this to obey. So if you're a pagan, it doesn't apply to you. Okay. All right, what's the next one? I can't read it.
It is
Commanded in the... Oh, wait, I can. Seventh day is not the first day. Okay, people, I've had people look at how we celebrate Shabbat, and they go, oh, that looks so wonderful. I think I'm going to apply all those principles to Sunday. I'm like, what planet are you from? What does this book say? It doesn't say, please apply my principles of Shabbating to Sunday worship. Okay, so it's very clear. The Catholic Church is very open with the fact that they changed it. All right, so do your research. If you don't know, I'm just speaking to the choir, I think, here. Most of you all understand this, but if you don't, the seventh day is not the first day of the week. The seventh day is Saturday, and it goes from sunset to sunset. That's how the reckoning of a day goes, according to the scriptures, and that is very clear in the scriptures. Don't talk to me about a sunrise to sunrise, okay? It's not scriptural. Okay, anyway, keep going. Yeshua kept Shabbat. So Yeshua did not argue.
Right.
I think that is huge. Right there.
It is huge. It's huger than you might think at first.
Right. I mean, everybody's trying to promote different calendars and all this jazz and how to reckon days, and Shabbat really wasn't on the Saturday. It was a different, but you just have to look back to see what Yeshua was doing and find out what they were doing at that time, which was Saturday was Shabbat. It was sunset to sunset, reckoned a day, and it was Aviv barley-sided moon reckoning of time to find the feast. I mean, it's so he never once challenged the rabbis in this book. He never once challenged the rabbis on calendar.
Right.
Or on Shabbat. What day is the day we're supposed to be worshiping?
Right. And he came and attended or directly fulfilled some of those calendar days on
I know.
On the same day.
On the same day.
So very much confirms what they were already doing at the time, their reckoning. So
yeah. So I think
might be a little bit of a mind twister at first, but it's big. We say we follow Yeshua.
Right.
And what would Yeshua do?
Right. Yeah. Wait a minute. What would YD? WWYD. And yet there's so many groups of people who are completely ignoring that fact and ignoring what Yeshua did to try to there's not a word that I can find in my mind to describe what they're doing. It's chaos making, trying to find somewhere else, dig up something to say that it's a different than what he was doing. That Yeshua had a sundial in his backyard. I don't think so. Yeah, sundial on his wrist, like Fred
Fred
Flintstone. I don't think so. Oh, okay. But we're not teaching about this right now. I just what is Shabbat? Okay, reminding myself, baby.
Okay.
There's weekly. Okay, so if you don't know, there's weekly Shabbats, and then there's high Shabbats.
Yes.
Which is part of, that's huge because he says to honor all his Shabbats. They're plural. So he's got the weekly Shabbat, and then he has 7 high Shabbats that fall on different times of the year, and different times during the year, and different days of the week, actually. So you could actually have, a high Shabbat on a Tuesday, depending on the counting, or a Thursday or whatever. So just so you know, there's also those. So and Shabbat is a reminder that we are not slaves in Egypt anymore. That Yehovah set us free. Remember, Yeshua said, "I've come to set the captives free." So we're not slaves in Egypt. So I love how. Oh, what is his name with that book? It's called.
Yeah.
The Rest. It's called The Rest of God. Buckingham.
Oh yeah, I was almost right there.
Oh.
That was going to be my next guess.
Really?
No.
Buchanan. Mark Buchanan.
Yeah.
He has a great book called The Rest of God. Now there's stuff in there, liturgies and whatnot. I don't necessarily like myself, but some of the stuff is super good, and he talks about that Shabbat is not a reward that we get for work that's
when
done.
Your work's all done.
Right. Do you want to finish that sentence?
No, I'm just with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay. It's not a reward for work done. It's a commanded rest in the middle of work not done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never done.
Yeah. So, people will say, I don't have any time. Well, you're never going to have time. Right. Ever going to have time. If you look at it as an option, you're never going to have time to Shabbat, because that's a pagan way.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Pagans are, work 24/7 until they retire, and then they fall over with diseases. Hello.
Yep. There's no rest for the wicked.
Sometimes I think there's no rest for us either, but we take the rest. We enter his rest. Every 7 days we get an opportunity to try again, right? All right, and then the last thing on this slide is there's 2 major reasons for Shabbat, 2 major points to Shabbat. According to the scriptures, is you get a body and mind and a heart rest. Like, he made us. He is the designer of this body that we inhabit, of our being, of our spirit, of our hearts, just this whole package deal, and all the machines that work inside of us. Oh yes, we've been watching lots of creation versus evolution videos with Illustria Media. Super good. Intelligent design and whatnot, and we know who that intelligent designer is, but all the machines in us need rest, and so that's one of the major points. The second major point of Shabbat is it's a sign. It's a sign as like an engagement ring. Okay, that's my wedding ring, but like an engagement ring that says, I'm in contract with you, I am promised to you, and so you are, keeping Shabbat, you're telling the world that you're taken, that you're serving the one true living Elohim, Yehovah Elohim, but you're also telling him that, yes, I want to be in contract with you. So, and this is clear in the scriptures. Isaiah talks about it's a sign. Deuteronomy, I think, calls it a sign as well. So, all right. Good? All right. Yeah. We're going to go on to the next slide. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Oh.
Yeah, somebody asked what they said. Is that a hammock?
Yes, it is a hammock. It's a little hard to see. Yeah, that's a hammock, and I think it's pointed out towards the water.
Yeah, I think it's looks like a bird's nest.
I just thought, that's kind of where I want to be right now. I'm super cold. I would love to be right there. Yeah. So, cool. All right, so we'll go to the next slide. Next slide is, okay, I want you to do a little personal audit real quick. And again, we're going to fly through some of this stuff. I don't have a ton of time right here, but personal audit. So you can write these questions down. You can go through the video again when it posts later, because this will be posted on our website, or you can scribble them down really quick, or you can wait for the Prezi to come, whatever. But let's take a moment to do a quick self-examination on how you are keeping this command to Shabbat. So if you are one of the scattered who is hearing the call to repent and return, that's the Ruach HaKodesh working on your heart to say, come back to Papa. And if you're moved to do that, then you're going to come and you're going to say, what do you want me to do and how do I obey? Well, one of the very first things you're going to learn is that you need to keep Shabbat. You need to be setting that one day apart. He's really big on that. He's strong on that. He's huge on idolatry. Like, do not serve the pagan gods. Well, one of the ways that Christianity has been serving the pagan gods is to worship on Sunday, which is the wrong day. And so coming to do a return, a repent, means you're going to reject the ways that were handed down to you, the lies, and you're going to turn and do you're going to choose the right way, which is laid out in the scriptures for us. So if that's your case, if that's your story, then if it's not your story and you're not feeling moved, and then you're a pagan and this has nothing to do with you. But if you have been moved, then that means Papa remembers you and he's calling you out, okay? And you have to respond appropriate to the call, remember. So here we go. So do you feel like Shabbat is an option? Here's a few questions for you.
Okay.
So is Shabbat optional to you? No, it's not optional. If you're hearing the Ruach move on your heart and you're saying, this is what I want to obey, what is it you need to obey? And he's saying, you got to keep Shabbat, then it's not optional, but you need to answer that for yourself. Are you feeling like it's optional? All right, and then how long have you been practicing Shabbat? How long have we been practicing Shabbat?
How long? I guess all our lives.
Yeah, we grew up Seventh-day Adventist, which definitely is helpful in the sense of keeping the weekly Shabbat. It wasn't helpful in getting rid of Christmas, Easter, and all that and doing the other Shabbats.
Yeah, and we weren't keeping the high Shabbats.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was not 100%.
But we did have a time where we really backed off completely and re-looked at what Shabbat's about. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we really understood what Shabbat was about more than going to church on Shabbat. Right. And what we called it Sabbath too. So when we came out, we changed it just to make a different
distinction.
Yeah. So it helps a little bit. All right. So how do you set Shabbat apart? This is another good question to ask yourself. How do we set it apart?
Right. So, we found it was good to just be deliberate about this and just look for ways, look for opportunities. A lot of people don't want anything extra to do other than the bare minimum. And so they feel like, well, if I just show up at the local assembly and make an appearance, then I don't go to my job or whatever, then I'm good. But, you're looking for opportunities to set it apart. And so, like the things you were talking about with how we prepare, putting a candle in each room.
When they're clean, when they're done.
Yeah.
Different things like that. We basically, I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit more details, but we enter Shabbat with a meal, a candlelit meal. And then we exit Shabbat with something, and that has changed over the course of time. But Havdalah, as you'll see at the end of the show today, this is kind of how a Havdalah candle and Havdalah ceremony. But that definitely changes a little bit with the needs of the family. But for now, our family's ending Shabbat with this show. So that's kind of how we're ending the day. So setting it apart. So we're going to talk a little bit detail about that in a minute. And then also, what does rest look like on you? What does rest look like on you? How about you?
That's a good one. It's good to be honest with this audit, really. Yeah. It's going to be the most helpful.
Yeah, you like to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah. Slept until 5:30 this morning. Which was about, an hour and a half longer than you?
Yeah. I wake up early most of the time. But
then I stayed in bed for another hour.
I was going to say, and sometimes I can actually stay in bed till 6:30 or 7 on Shabbat.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes.
And I sleep longer sometimes,
Yeah,
too.
You do. And then a lot of times he'll take a nap.
Like a nap.
Yeah, he likes a little cat nap.
Or at least sometime in the tank, Right. A little...
Throw him in the closet and shut the door.
Exactly.
Or
sometimes I'll cuddle with my dad.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Hadassah's saying
That.
she likes to cuddle with Daddy.
Shabbat morning cuddle.
So, yeah, what does rest look like on you? So, for me, rest, if it's a sunny day and you're trying to keep me chained up inside, I'm going to go mad. That's not restful for me. I got to be outside laying in the sun. So, for me, rest is going out into nature and being warm. I can't stand rest is not cold. But anyway, that varies. It changes. But rest is doing something different, like having a different pace to that day than a normal day. So it can change. We're going to talk a little bit about details and about that in a minute. Do you go to services on Shabbat? Why or why not?
Right, because when you read the Sabbath commandment, as carefully as you want, it actually doesn't say go to church or go to assembly.
No. Now, there is one in Leviticus that talks about have a holy convocation on Shabbat. And I got to look into that a little more. But if you look at the command directly in the Melchizedek covenant, Exodus 20 there, it doesn't say assemble. So we have done assemblies, and they've been great for the time that they are. They're a lot of work. So on one hand, I don't feel like I rested well. But our spirits got a rest because we had fellowship, and it made things easier with our family. But you go through seasons.
Right.
But I would definitely encourage you, if you don't have a fellowship, to fellowship with on Shabbat. Don't freak out!
Right.
Don't freak out! Just chill out and just let Papa be your family. There's Papa, there's Yeshua, there's the Ruach. So you have a father, a mother, and a son. I mean, they're your family, and they want to be with you. So figure out what rest looks like on you. Figure out what they're asking from you, and look close to them. And don't freak out if you don't have a fellowship, because you may be blessed to not have one.
It could be.
It's not extremely restful to do spiritual warfare, to have people come into your house and they have baggage. You have no idea what demons they're carrying into your house, and all the cleansing you have to do afterwards or before. It's not always I'm not saying they're bad all the time. I'm just saying be careful. Yeah. And don't. Papa may have you in a place of, he's jealous, right? He wants your time, and you've spent so long without him. He's gonna be like, I want you for myself. So
yeah, it's possible.
For a while.
Yeah. In the middle of a big argument every Shabbat may not be really restful. But then being alone
all the time is not
in
restful
your
either.
little apartment or whatever, wherever, may not be the most restful either.
So each individual situation, I'm sure, and times in life and seasons are different. Yeah. Okay. Hope you understand our heart on that. How do you prepare for Shabbat? We talked about it with Hadassah, prep day. Do you Shabbat well? This is another great question. And this is like, it comes and goes. Shabbating well comes and goes. I think it's definitely hard on sometimes, and other times it's easy. Are you flexible with Shabbat changing? Mm-hmm. I think this is an important question. Like, are you flexible with it changing? Because if you're rigid and you have to have challah and olive oil, Hadassah has to have challah and olive oil every morning. And what was it, this morning? Or
last night.
She's like, oh, we don't need olive oil with that. I'm like, woo! Hadassah is being flexible.
We're like, what?
Well, we had a...
Break tradition?
No way.
We had a garlic parmesan bread we had.
Yeah, and it didn't need it.
Oil. So, okay.
So are you flexible? Because I think Papa has us, there's seasons in our life, and we have to be flexible with, like, where you are with things.
And there's also a transition process as we move into this, where we might bring some things over that might be fine for now.
Right, exactly.
But that maybe don't need
to
stick around for the long haul. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or just whatever.
Yeah, because we're all learning on a journey. So you're going to learn how to Shabbat, and how you Shabbated 10 years ago is not how you're going to Shabbat now, or a year ago. When you very first started, it's going to look different as you learn more.
Yeah.
So, all right.
It's okay.
And then, do you love Shabbat? Why or why not? It's a great question to think about personally. Do you love Shabbat? Why or why not? So, I love Shabbat, but honestly, lately, Shabbats have been hard. So, it's not the show, not that, but just personal issues with family. And so, I'm like needing to look at why I'm not
really happy with Shabbat right now. So we're going to go to the next screen and do some of that. Let's go back and look at our pretty beach.
Yeah. Look at the comments real quick.
Yeah, look at the comments.
And we used to do our Shabbat in the woods.
Yep.
Fellowship.
Yeah, we
every Shabbat at 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. I wish
So
you were
we
on
used to
camera,
do-
Hadassah. You're super cute. But get warm. Put a coat on. It's super cold in here. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going
Yeah.
here. All right, so just 2 more things we're going to chat about here. And I know I'm watching that clock go down, but we're going to do this. Your Shabbat challenges. So let's look at some challenges with Shabbat. Okay, so here's a sample list of challenges with Shabbat. So your family's gonna, your situation, family, whatever your situation looks like, it's gonna be different than ours probably. But so I'd love it if you took a piece of paper right now and wrote down some challenges that you have with Shabbat while we talk kind of openly about it. But here's a list of some sample challenges that I know to be true with people I've seen. And maybe there's some personal ones here, but conviction. Like, how convicted are you on this? That's a challenge.
Because when things get hard or challenging,
Yeah.
then
Are you willing to
we
go
need
the
some
distance? Yeah.
conviction, some prior conviction to fall back on,
Right.
to carry us through.
To carry,
Yeah. And if it's not there, then it can be really.
Then it can be just
Gets
like
kind of
a-
gray and muddy and.
well. Then it
kinda
can be
hard.
like, if you're not operating out of conviction and love for the Creator, then it's going to be a grit and bear it sort of thing, and it's not going to be fun. You're not going to be able
Yeah.
to delight in it at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so then demands of others is also something that is a challenge, right? Demands of others. I mean, that's broad. I mean, in the next one, I have work and sports. So you have the demands of your workplace, the demands of a sport, the demands of the family members.
I was thinking demands of the religious community around.
Oh, totally, that's true.
Because we usually don't come into this movement like in a total vacuum.
Yeah.
There's some source, whether it was online or right or flesh and blood.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking of. But you're right, the society around us.
Right.
And family and.
Yay.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, and then you have your family situation. That is another challenge. What is your family situation? Is the family on board? Are you all alone in the family and you have to celebrate Shabbat in your room by yourself? Or, that's huge, that family dynamics.
Yeah, and that keeps changing. Oh, I guess I just jumped ahead.
Oh, there you go. Changing family needs. There we go. So, changing family needs. Put your arm around me. I'm cold. Okay, changing family needs. That's another thing that is a challenge, because when you have children that are really little, as we did when we started coming out, it was fun. It was easy, because you
it was
just
pretty easy.
throw them in the car and go do what you wanted to do, or it was easier. And then now they're teenagers, and it's definitely a little harder.
And they got minds of their own.
I know. So that's changing. The family needs are changing. Also, your work. Sometimes you get stuck different places, and I want to spend Shabbat, so I'll go see him. It's different. Okay, going on to the next thing. Complacency or laziness. That's another challenge. If you're complacent, which would go along with the conviction idea, but if you're lazy, you're just plumb lazy to not put any thought into Shabbat. Shabbat is not. I don't believe Shabbat's a time to sit like a bump on a log all day long.
What if I'm just really tired?
Then if you're sick, that's sickness. Then go get in bed and just put a note on the door and say, I'm not coming out for a few days. No, I mean, I understand. I understand, like, if you need to sleep in and if you need a nap, you need to do things a different way. But do you really think that Shabbat's all about sitting on the couch like a bump on the log? I don't think so.
No, and we're serious. We're in this for the long haul, and and after a few years go by and the newness wears off and stuff, then you need something else to fall back on.
But you also want to make it a day that your family, your kids are going to enjoy.
Yes.
And you want to make good memories of Shabbat. I mean, I remember my dad, conked out on the couch after church, we'd go to church, then you'd have the big potluck, and then you'd come home and Dad would be conked down on the couch and no paying attention to not all the time. My dad took us hiking and stuff like that. So, but I'm just saying
appropriate, planning and
some
and
planning
good
and some
traditions. Good appropriate traditions will help a lot.
Right. So there you go.
Good.
Okay. I love my dad. I think my parents did a great job at trying really hard to keep Shabbat, active on some level. So don't get me wrong on that. All right. Controlling conversations and controlling thoughts. That's a challenge on Shabbat. And that's, I have that challenge, controlling conversations, like not getting into a fight with my, teenager, or controlling my thoughts. Like I've got all these projects I'm doing. Like, how can I bring my thoughts under control so that I can get or my brain can get a rest?
Right, and
that's huge.
Early on, we did have a tradition that kind of addressed that. Our Shabbat prayer, the Shabbat scroll.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I had forgotten about that, but that was very helpful to walk us through laying some of those things down for Shabbat.
Right.
As we went in, and it was a tradition. That's what I meant by an appropriate tradition to address the results of an audit.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We should bring that back out. Maybe I will give that away to my ladies tomorrow. But anyway, other people are going to see this later, but I'll tell you about it, ladies, later. Okay, expectations. Huge. This is a huge challenge because your expectations. So we have a family of 4. 1, 2, 3, and Maggie's at home. But we have Isaac has expectations on what Shabbat's going to be like. Hadassah has expectations on what Shabbat should be like. I have expectations, and Maggie does, and then the dogs even have expectations. Mom and Dad the family's home, and the dogs are like, "Yay, I want to go on a." My point is that there's so many expectations that we come into Shabbat with that sometimes we're set up for a fall and a really hard Shabbat if the expectations are too high. I know you have a lot to say on that, but we'll just keep going.
Disappointment is an unmet expectation.
Disappointment is an unmet. What? Disappointment is
true or false? Discuss.
Thank you. It does.
All right.
So then we have another thing here is I wrote down is selfishness, and this is something is a challenge. So when you're in a family or in a group situation, even whether you're in assembly or just a family or whatever, even if there's just one other person, the idea is the selfishness is my Shabbat. This is my Shabbat. So don't touch my Shabbat. Don't make me do something that I don't want to do on my Shabbat. That is.
Or I can't help you with that because I'm resting.
Boy, who have we heard say that? Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea there. Let's go on. All right. Okay, and then the demons who meddle.
Always
in the Shabbat rest. Absolutely, those are. That's definitely a challenge. A challenge to do spiritual warfare before to keep them out. Challenge to do spiritual warfare in the middle of it because you want to rest. You're like, I'm exhausted. I've been doing this all week. I've been fighting the demons all week long. On Shabbat, can I get just a rest?
I know.
And that always reminds me of the Maccabee story during Hanukkah when you talk about that. You have Judah Maccabee with this group out in the mountains, and it's Shabbat, and you have this other group out in the mountains. It's Shabbat, and the bad guys come for this one group, and these guys will not fight because it's Shabbat, and they are completely destroyed. They're murdered, and Judah and the group Israel sees what happens here, and the bad guys are coming for Judah, and Judah's like, well, they decided to not fight on Shabbat. We're gonna fight for our lives on Shabbat, and so I see, the demons are coming for you. That's something I got to work on too. It's just I just kind of get, I'm so tired, and kind of get complacent and just the demons are going to leave me alone today. And no, they're not. And I had an issue this morning that was pretty frustrating, and I won't tell you what, but it was pretty frustrating. And I was like, oh, this is demons. And I just got down, I prayed, and the issue went away. I was like, thank you. Oh yeah. Okay. No privacy. That is a challenge.
Speaking from personal experience?
Personal experience for me. Right? definitely the idea of privacy. Sometimes I need privacy to, have a rest, to be able to eat in quietness. And I know all you moms probably totally understand what I'm saying. A little privacy to get a time to chill out, a time to rest, a time to just stop worrying about what everyone else needs and just, center yourself. That's huge, and privacy is important. And for me, weather is an issue. Right. For me, we live in a one little tiny room. It's a little tiny cabin, basically a one-room cabin, and it's big enough for one person and a dog. But we have 3 animals and 4 of us, and it's a little small, and so you're stuck inside if the weather's bad, and you don't do a ton of winter sports, even though you live in North Idaho. I know.
It's cold during the winter.
I know. Okay, one more thing to this slide. And then getting home right before sunset is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
That's hard. And so I love it that, like, Hadassah is very intense on prep day, so she'll use the whole day. That's what I was doing. This is why she does this, because I taught her how to do this. This is what I loved to do when we were at the teepee. I took we all did. We all stopped on Thursday, basically, and took the whole Friday to prep. But now, with different job and everything, it's just like we slam into Shabbat, physically and emotionally. She is wonderful to do the cleaning, but it's just this emotional, we just slam right into it, especially when he comes home right at sunset. That's hard.
Yep.
But it's a challenge. Okay.
It is.
So let's go on here so we can do our last slide. Delighting in Shabbat. Delighting in Shabbat. What habits can you change in order to grow in Shabbat delight? All right. So I know it's almost time for the show to be over, but I'm going to just walk through these real quick because I think it's important to finish this. What habits can you change in order to grow in Shabbat delight? So you think about whether you should have company or no company. Really think through that. Think whether you should leave the familiar place of your home, so not to be reminded of work that's not done yet. That's huge. Also you can change things to make it the funnest day of the week. I mean, we moved all our, if we did a big, I don't know, if we went biking on a beautiful trail, we didn't do that in the middle of the week. Or on Sunday, we did that because Sunday's a work day. We did that on Shabbat. If we had a picnic dinner, or, we always made that the funnest day. So we did our beach days on that day, our nature days were on that day. So our adventures.
Yeah, that's another little finer point in the commandment is that it says to work for 6.
Right.
So
ooh, I didn't have that on here.
It's not a 2-day.
Right. It's not Shabbat and Sunday. Right. That's part of the commandment is you have to work for 6 in order to have that one day. That's huge.
Yeah. So we don't.
Right.
Shabbat on Sunday.
Right. We don't play on Sunday. We work on Sunday.
But in the scripture, it says in Exodus 8, I think, Exodus 20 verse 8, it says,
come over here.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Yes.
Is what it says.
Yes, it does.
You need to keep the Sabbath day holy because it's a rest day.
Yes, absolutely.
It is.
She's going to be a preacher like her mama.
No,
she is
I'm from her.
Okay, let's run through these. So another thing that you could do to delight in Shabbat is get out in nature, like we said. Another thing is to serve and love others like Yeshua did. I really think that helps with the selfish factor, to say it's my Shabbat. When you think about someone else and their needs on some levels, however that looks. I mean, right. I don't know what that looks like in your world. I'm just trying to figure out what it looks like in our world. So to love others like Yeshua did on Shabbat. Yes. He actually spent his Shabbats just healing people sometimes, like whole communities. So he was definitely loving other people on Shabbat.
And helping your neighbor get his donkey out of his ditch.
Donkey out of your ditch. Yeah. We'll try to do that when we get home. Okay. Give each. Oh, this is one. So today Isaac gave me a massage. I gave him a massage. I did. So the idea of just help yourself relax with essential, help each other relax with oils and massages, because you spend all week working like a slave almost, and You need some ointment and liniment on you and to rub those sore muscles. That's important. Have your best meal on Shabbat, and we do it on Erev Shabbat, and the night, it's Friday night going in, we have dessert. Our only real dessert for the whole week is on that evening. So, and we have a little wine that night sometimes, not all the time. But definitely a special drink, grape juice or Martinelli's or something.
Yeah, I thought it's early. You know how we used to say that Shabbat was to help remind us that we're royalty.
Right.
You know, by choosing to live that way, even if you can't really afford it.
Right.
It's important to do anyway.
To remember that we're sons and daughters of the King, so we're royalty. We've been made royalty through the work of Yeshua, and which tithe is for, by the way. So you have some money. If you're setting tithe apart, which you should be.
What the tithe is for, and then every third year it was to go to the storehouse so that the widows and the orphans and the poor around you could also have what they needed to celebrate the feast as Papa intended.
So that they could remember. Yeah,
also.
So that the poor could remember. It's
important to Papa.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's see. Oh, I have special things that I do. Like, there's special Shabbat towels that Hadassah puts up on Friday. Really nice and just soft and, and beautiful. I have a special nightie. We all kind of have a special nightie. Not him, but the girls that we wear. Sometimes if we just want to crash and not dress up for the meal kind of thing. I also had a Shabbat curtain that would separate me from the work area. It's the kitchen. So like when I was done in the kitchen for Shabbat, I would have this little sheer curtain that I pulled over to just make sure that I remembered what day it was, so I could have, a rest. And like Hadassah said, we light little tea lights in the rooms as they're done, so throughout the day on prep day, so that we know that, okay, this is clean. And right now we don't have a lot of rooms, but we do have bathrooms.
More like areas.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to go back to the other one here. Sometimes we have a date in the morning. The date. We really do like the date. Love the date. So we get up early and sometimes have a little date together with tea and whatnot. But up at the teepee, another thing that we would do is so that I didn't have to see the dishes, because dishes can give me anxiety, as I'm sure a lot of you moms feel too, is like having dishes on the counter growing throughout the day. It just gives me anxiety. We used to put the dishes outside. Yeah. I'm serious, in buckets. It was awesome. I loved that. It wasn't so fun, the next day, but I loved it.
Then we put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, I know.
The dishwasher's not big enough.
I know, to hold them all. I have special movies for Shabbat, special music for Shabbat. Let's see, and sometimes we've been real clear on making the devices off limits on Shabbat to kind of separate that day out. We have special, they're called Shabbat books that we do sometimes. Shabbat books, you can do studies. Let's see, and then I wanted to just make a point just here real quick on if to make a good change in order to grow Shabbat delight, I think requires a good solid prep day, and I think that's what one of our challenges right now is, having a good solid prep afternoon at least to enter into Shabbat with a Shabbat heart. One thing that we're talking about right now is doing a Shabbat chalet. So the idea of trying to leave the house, going somewhere on Friday evening to enter Shabbat in another location that would be good for our hearts. That would be something that we would like to do at some point. So anyway, there we have our little conversation on Shabbat. How was that? Good. Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay. So let's see. We're going to just end our show here. And then we're going to go over live to the ladies, but I will let you know. Let's go ahead and play our Havdalah video.
I like to close Shabbat with a small ceremony called Havdalah. Havdalah is dividing the holy day from the work days. It's important to somehow guard the edges of Shabbat.
Can we blow it out now?
All right, there you go. And then we say goodbye, Shabbat. Bye. See you next week.
There are so many ways that you can enter and exit Shabbat. If you do it like our brother Judah does it, you'll need a Kiddush cup for talking about overflowing joy, a Havdalah candle to talk about when the two become one, spices for talking about how to be a fragrant aroma to the King. Whatever you do, separate Shabbat out. Teach your children how to do this, and do it beautifully. May the ways of Yehovah Elohim, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, burn into the minds and hearts of the next generation.
Okay. So, all right. So I just want to leave you with Yeshua's blessing to his priests, the blessing that he gave his priests on the way to the Garden of Gethsemane, or his disciples. I have given them, he said, I have given them your word, and the world has hated them. I do not pray that you would take them out of the world, but that you would keep them from evil. Sanctify them through your truth. Your word is truth. I have declared your name to them, so that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. May they be one as we are one. So I want to leave you with the blessing that Yeshua, the Melchizedek high priest, left with his Melchizedek priests. And as we end tonight. So Laila Tov, everyone. Make sure, ladies, come over to the group. We're going to listen to my conversation, my interview with Tracy and Talina over there. Super fun. I know it's going to be a little late night for you, but you can always watch these later if you want. So Laila Tov, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Now let me see if I can get this to play.
Your generous and faithful support is much needed in order for our ministry to thrive. If you have benefited from our work, then please become a patron today. Visit www.patreon.com/Rebekah Garvin